some of my Republican friends want to take the economy hostage. I get it, unless I agree to their economic plans. All of you at home should know what those plans are. Instead of making the wealthy pay their fair share, some Republicans want Medicare and Social Security to sunset. I'm not saying it's a majority. Let me give you, anybody who doubts it, contact my office. I'll give you a copy. I'll give you a copy of the proposal. That means Congress doesn't vote. Well, I'm glad to see you. No, I tell you, I enjoy conversion. You know, it means if Congress doesn't keep the programs the way they are, they'd go away. Other Republicans say, I'm not saying it's a majority of you. I don't even think it's even a significant, but it's being proposed by individuals. I'm not politely not naming them, but it's being proposed by some of you. Look, folks, the idea is that we're not going to be moved into being threatened to default on the debt if we don't respond. Folks,
I'm not saying it's a majority. Well, why say it then? The first thing you're going to do is backtrack on it, you old fool. All right, live from Studio 6B on a Thursday, 8:30. That, of course, is one of the moments, one of the more fiery moments, and I applaud the Republicans for it. Any other response less than that would have been a dereliction of duty, as they like to say in the Democratic Party on their end. So,
well, it was a moment of conversion, Dave.
Yes. Evita Duffy-Alfonso is a staff writer to The Federalist. She's co-founder of the Chicago Thinker. Her latest piece at The Federalist is entitled "Liar. Republicans epically fact-check Biden's Social Security and Medicare fear-mongering in real time." Yes, they did. And she's been nice enough to join us now. Evita, welcome to Live from Studio 6B. How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's great to have you. That was a great moment, you know. And when you're a pathological liar and you're going to lie to the American people like that, and that's what Joe Biden's done his whole career. We know it. He's a bumbling disgrace. I thought the speech was lifeless, and it was just full of just fantastical lies. You deserve to get booed. So I approve and applaud the Republicans for doing it. Tell me your thoughts.
Yeah, well, it was so interesting. There was a lot of debate on Twitter. Should Marjorie Taylor Greene have called them a liar? Should the Republicans be heckling the president? And my answer is absolutely. He's lying to the American people on live television in front of, our entire government. And yeah, they have every right to say, no, that's not true. We're not trying to sunset Medicare and Social Security. What a bald-faced lie that you're going to tell the American people. And they fact-checked him in real time and actually made him start to stutter. And he moved off script. You can actually see his prepared remarks. And he started to stumble and kind of lose his way as they booed him. And I just thought it was amazing to fact-check him. And then also to show that this man is not here mentally. He was just not coherent. The second he moved off script, it was a disaster.
Yeah, it always is a disaster with him, whether he's on script or off script. Off script is total disaster, like you said. And the amazing thing about it is these are the same people, the media, all the analysts who go, oh, they shouldn't be booing, and MTG and all this, and Carville losing his mind. These are the same people who, when Nancy Pelosi behind Donald Trump ripped up the State of the Union, applauded, like, oh, no problem with that. But MTG in the crowd saying liar when he is exactly doing that, they had a huge problem with. Amazing, isn't it? They still want to claim the moral high ground.
Yeah, no, it's incredible. And we talk about what kind of Republicans do we want representing us? And you see Marjorie Taylor Greene yelling at him, calling him a liar. And then you have Mitch McConnell probably sitting there doing nothing with his Ukraine flag tie. Much prefer Marjorie Taylor Greene to that. I mean, it was just the contrast is so telling of what kind of people we want representing us. And you're right. The Democrats don't have any respect. Anytime anybody says, we should have respect for this office and for this hall. No, the Democrats have no respect. And we're not going to let the president lie to our faces.
Yeah. There's a couple of things about this that are really amazing. So he keeps the president. So he does this on Tuesday night and he gets booed. Then he goes out Wednesday, does the same thing, of course, in front of a crowd that's not going to boo him. So he continues to do it. He even did it again today. But he keeps focusing on, I'm assuming, Rick Scott, and it's who he's referring to when he says Republicans, and then he immediately backtracks and says, well, it's not all of you. So he keeps talking about Rick Scott and this proposal that he put out, obviously, about Social Security and Medicare reform. So what is the basis? Was Rick Scott just sloppy in what he put out? Is Biden just misrepresenting it? What's your understanding of the Rick Scott proposal and why Biden keeps trying to kind of harp on it and use it to his advantage?
Yeah, I mean, what I've been told from Republicans is that no one is trying to do anything to Social Security and Medicare, and I wish that they would. To be honest, I think the entitlements in this country have become completely out of control, and I'm a Gen Zer. For me, I know I'm never going to see that money. I'm going to get screwed for the rest of my life, paying into something that I'm never going to see, and so yeah, I wish they would deal with it. But the truth is, no one's going to deal with it. We all know that, and the president is just using it as a talking point. He doesn't have much to run on. The economy is trash. This war in Ukraine is putting us in financial ruin as Americans can't even buy eggs. And so he's got to run on something. And so he's making up lies now.
Yeah. And what's amazing is his inflationary and the Democrats' inflationary agenda puts seniors at way more risk than some speculation about what has to be done with Medicare. And like you said, they have to be reformed at some point, whether it's the age or whether it's grandfathering in whoever's the next 5 or 10 years and then making changes. There's got to be some changes. But you think about the quantitative easing we've done in this country under mostly Democrat rule for 15 years. That has been much more of a danger to seniors and Medicare and Social Security, as they can only earn 1% in some of these trusts where this money lies instead of 8% because we're quantitative easing and devaluing the dollar over the last 15 years. That's been way more of a problem, but nobody wants to address that. They just want to talk about Rick Scott, some proposal out there in the ether that he doesn't even say he wants to do this, but this is what he keeps harping on.
Yeah, and it's such a good point, because the Democrats' policies, they're absolutely in the short term, right? Because elderly people, they only have the short term to look into. It definitely hurts them more. But there's a real disconnect with boomers, I think, is the real problem. I know everybody wants to hate on the boomers, but it's true. I think there's a lot of boomers who aren't looking at that, and they say, oh, Social Security and Medicare, and oh, I'm super worried that Republicans are going to take it away. And the real truth is that Democrats' policies are what's hurting them a lot more than any sort of reform to these entitlements. And I think Republicans need to do some messaging to them and talk to them about the real dollars and cents, and say, you guys are not looking at this the right way. And it's really frustrating, like I say, from like a millennial or from a Gen Z standpoint, that they can't understand that. But I find that there's a real disconnect, and the reason Democrats are able to lie like this is because seniors are so receptive to it. Yeah.
And we could take a little trip down memory lane. Gee, pull up cut one, because Biden today says something about, it's their dream, Republicans, as he continues to harp on this, it's their dream to cut Social Security, Medicare. Let's just remember very quickly about who's talking here. Cut one, roll that, G.
Let me ask you a question, Joe.
Yeah.
You're right here with me.
Yeah.
Have you been on the floor of the Senate? You were in the Senate for a few years.
Yeah.
Time and time again, talking about the necessity, with pride, about cutting Social Security, cutting Medicare, cutting veterans programs.
No.
You never said that.
No.
When I argued that we should freeze federal spending, I meant Social Security as well. I meant Medicare and Medicaid. I meant veterans benefits. I meant every single solitary thing in the government.
Look, here's the deal.
You're an honest guy. Why don't you just tell the truth here? We all make mistakes.
I am telling the truth.
And I not only tried it once, I tried it twice, I tried it a third time, and I tried it a fourth time.
Joe, let me repeat it again. I want you just to be straight with the American people. I am saying that you have been on the floor of the Senate time and time again talking about the need to cut Social Security,
that's good, G.
Medicare, and veterans.
So, Joe, maybe like Bernie says, Joe doesn't know we have the YouTube to go to, but, we have tape of Joe Biden here. I think it was more his dream than anyone else's. What do you think?
Maybe he really did forget. I mean, the man's senile. Who knows? But no. I mean, this man is a serial liar. I mean, that is such an amazing clip. I'm glad you were able to pull that up, because absolutely. I mean, he himself has been trying to get rid of Social Security and Medicare, and so it's astounding that and this is what Joe Biden really is. I mean, everybody always says, oh, he's a kind grandfather. He's benign. He's going to unite the country.
Yeah.
This say and do whatever he can to appease the Democrats, which right now are extremely radical, are extremely dangerous, and posing a threat to a lot. The way that they weaponize the FBI. I mean, just the things that have been allowed under this presidency are not benign, are not uniting, and he is a serial liar and will do whatever he can to stay in power. And it's very concerning.
Yeah, Lunch Bucket Joe. So one of the other things that's concerning, and it's a piece you wrote, I think before the latest one you wrote, was about this viral TikTok in China, and obviously that's everything that's going on with this balloon. I want to ask you about that because, this omnibus bill that we just went through, one of the things that we heard about from people like Tom Cotton, who I was shocked at, voted yes. They used the military excuse as to say why they had to vote for this $1.8 trillion omnibus bill passed in the lame duck session. And I read your piece and I'm thinking, you were writing exactly what I was thinking at the time, thinking, wait a minute, what are we funding? More wokeness, more weaponization, more. Tell me a little bit about, first of all, let's play this clip and then I'll set it up for you so you can explain what your article was. Play a little of Cut Zero, G. Roll that.
And the threats to our nations, they don't sleep. They're watching our every move. Iran, Russia, China, North Korea, ISIS, Al-Qaeda. They may be watching this right now. Our military should not be mistaken for a cable news gabfest show. We don't care what you look like. We don't care who you voted for, who you worship, what you worship, who you love. It doesn't matter if your dad left you millions when he died or if you knew who your father was.
All right, that's good, G. It goes on a little bit. I'll post it, but that's to the point. Your article says, yes, we all kind of get why we should be inspired. These guys will go out there and we're the number one, military in the world, and we want to fund them and we want to defend our freedom and all that. But your point of your article is to say, that's not really the messaging coming from this Department of Defense, Lloyd Austin, and what we have right now, correct?
Well, so my article was saying, that his message is fine, but what's concerning to me is that it's gone mega viral among young people, especially a lot of young men, and I think it's essentially meaningless in terms of uniting people, right? Like what his thesis is. What we have to fight for and what we have to unite under is that we disagree on everything. And that's the same thing with the military in general. The higher ups say diversity is everything. Diversity is our strength. And instead of talking about what we have to unite under, the Constitution, our freedoms, like the entire American mythos, they've completely rejected that. And for good reason, because a lot of young people are straight up offended by our shared cultural heritage. They think the founding fathers are racist. Yeah. And the reason is because, that's what they've been taught in schools. You have the National Archives putting content warning labels on the Declaration of Independence. I mean, yeah. It's being taught to them. I just think it was really indicative of the sickness that's in our military and why their numbers are tanking for recruitment. Yeah.
Well, I love to have you on the show. We'd love to have you back. Great discussion. And thank you very much.
Thank you.
Evita Duffy-Alfonso from The Federalist, live from Studio 6B on a Thursday night. News and sports, more to do. And we'll get into the Nord Stream 2. What's going on? All of it coming up.